One of the most important databases in journalism and public relations research is a database called Global Newsstream, which has hundreds of news sources from around the world. Most are from the United States and most are in English, but it also has news stories in other languages and from other countries. And it's a fairly straightforward database to search. We're going to start with the search Tyler Skaggs, and we're going to put his name in quotation marks. And the reason we're doing that is because it's a name and we want to keep the phrase together as a phrase and not look for Tyler separate from Skaggs. Then we're going to put in drug overdose. And I'm going to click search. I prefer when I'm searching to search broadly and then narrow using the filters over here on the left rather than to narrow from the beginning. So as we know, the Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs died in 2019 from an accidental drug overdose. And at the time, of course, it was not clear whether it was accidental. But if you needed research on this event, then this would be a good place to start. We come up with 170 news stories that mention Tyler Skaggs and drug overdose. If we wanted to broaden that search, we could put drug overdose or drugs. And that would expand it a lot. And that takes us to 580 results. So that way, we're not looking for the word overdose, we're just looking for drug or drug overdose or drugs. Now you can filter these resources over here on the left. You could look at just the newspaper articles. You could look at wire feeds. Wire feeds are typically not going to be as important to you because they are going to be stories that have been repeated and run in many newspapers. So generally you're not going to want that, but you might want blogs, podcasts, websites, and other sources. You might also want only the material from the last year. So you can use the date filter to filter your stories. And you may only want to know what major publications have written about Tyler Skaggs' case to see what kind of publicity and what kind of information you can find. So if I click more over here, then I can look at the LA Times, I might look at the Daily News, the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the Washington Post. I might pick the major newspapers. And that's going to get me down to 101 results. Fairly straightforward, as I said. Most of the stories in this database are full text. Once you click on them, you'll find that you can download it as a PDF. If you're doing a scholarly paper and you need citations, you can get an APA citation. Again, it's computer generated, so you have to check it and be careful. And also, this is the 6th edition, and APA is now in the 7th edition. And the capitalization on this is not correct. So you have to double check, but at least it gives you a beginning. Actually, this is a pretty bad citation right here. But most of the time, they're fairly close, okay? You can email the story to yourself, etc. So that's generally how you would use Global Newsstream.